It felt like destiny in week 1. That's the point. Intensity that arrives before evidence is what blinds you. You've met the version of someone where every text lands like a novel, every night feels like a movie, and forever shows up before you've shared a single boring Tuesday. Your body says this is rare. Your calendar says this is fast. Today we're naming what that pattern can be, and how to tell it apart from a healthy rush. So you slow down decisions, not feelings. Love bombing, as popular psychology uses the term, names a pattern of overly affectionate early relationship behavior, lavish attention, gifts, early declarations, constant contact, and pressure toward rapid commitment, used to accelerate closeness or dependence before trust has had time to form. Important honesty up front. Love bombing is a widely used cultural label. Peer-reviewed research on it as a neatly measured construct is still relatively thin compared with how often the phrase trends online. So we stick to careful definitions and observable patterns, not pop psych certainty. We're not diagnosing anyone watching this. We're mapping a pattern some people report, so you can recognize pace and pressure, not so you can label an X from a tip list. Here's the concept creep guardrail. Skip this and the whole video becomes a weapon. Intense early chemistry can also be healthy new relationship energy, mutual excitement, paced closeness, and curiosity that doesn't punish you when you need air. Some couples feel a lot, early, and still treat boundaries as normal. So intensity alone is not the tell. What often separates a healthy rush from a love bombing pattern is the combination. Pace that keeps outrunning your comfort, boundary pressure when you slow down, and, later, control, withdrawal, or punishment when the pedestal cracks. Think of it like this. Chemistry asks, do we feel something? Love bombing risk asks, what happens when I say not yet? If affection stays mutual, respect stays consistent, and your outside life stays intact, you're probably looking at early infatuation, not a control accelerant. If affection arrives like a flood, then gets metered like a reward after you comply, pay attention. These are early filters, useful to watch for, not a checklist that proves anyone is a narcissist. 1. Future faking. Life scripts appear before shared history, apartments, trips, vows, shared identities, while weekdays are still strangers. 2. Contact as compliance. Constant pinging isn't the red flag by itself. The tell is what happens when you reply slower, irritation, guilt, or tests designed to recenter their urgency as your emergency. 3. Us versus the world isolation. Sudden contempt for your friends, family, or routines, wrapped as romance. They don't get us. Isolation shrinks your ability to reality check the pace. 4. Anger at breaks. You ask for a slower week. Healthy intensity renegotiates. Risky patterns treat your boundary as betrayal. 5. Idealization that snaps cold. Pedestal criticism, distance, warm return. The whiplash itself becomes the hook. Again, one signal in isolation can be ordinary messiness. The pattern is clusters, especially pace plus punishment for boundaries. After early idealization, some relationships are described as cycling into devaluation, withdrawal, criticism, control, then intermittent return of affection. Lay explainers talk about that loop a lot. Treat it as a commonly described pattern, not a universal law of dating. Why does inconsistent warmth feel sticky? Here's a careful analogy, not a clinical claim. In learning research, rewards that arrive unpredictably often keep people chasing longer than steady ones. That's the classic idea behind intermittent reinforcement. Applied to relationships, it means, if early intensity trains you to expect closeness, and then warmth becomes irregular, your attention can lock on to winning back the pedestal instead of evaluating the pacing. We are not saying you are addicted, and we are not medicalizing heartbreak. We're saying your brain notices irregular rewards, and that noticing can make slow decisions harder unless you build a deliberate pause. One empirical note, hedged hard, a college sample study, roughly 484 young adults, found love bombing behaviors correlated with higher narcissistic tendencies, insecure attachment, and lower self-esteem. Correlational. Campus sample. Self-report. It does not prove that everyone intense early is narcissistic. and it does not license diagnosing your partner from a YouTube video. Self-defense means buying time and protecting reality checks, not counter-manipulation. Time rule. Pick a personal window, often several weeks, where you do not unlock big life keys, moves, loans, cutoffs from friends, public forever language. Feelings can be huge. Decisions can wait. Keep the offline circle. Dates that erode your friendships lose information. Healthy intensity usually survives your Tuesday board game group. Name the pace out loud. I like this. I also need it slower. Then watch the response. Curiosity and recalibration are data. Rage and guilt are data too. Prefer consistency over fireworks. Ask. Across boring days, are they steady, or only vivid when you're available on their terms? Boundary respect check. A small no. Phones down Sunday. No overnight yet. Slow on exclusivity. Should be negotiable without emotional debt collection. None of this is a guarantee. It's a way to keep your nervous system from making policy while flooded. If this topic is landing hard because you're in something that feels unsafe, escalating, or abusive, this video is not treatment. Reach toward qualified local help, professionals, trusted people, appropriate resources where you live. Mind Patterns does education, not crisis care. This is educational psychology for awareness, not therapy, diagnosis, or relationship advice for your specific situation. We will not teach how to love bomb someone. We will not diagnose your partner with a personality disorder from a tip list. Pattern recognition is for slowing your choices, not for winning a courtroom in your group chat. Which early intensity signal have you actually seen? Future faking, contact pressure, isolation wrapped as romance, anger at breaks, or pedestal to cold whiplash. Tell me in the comments which one made you slow down. And if you want the next pattern in this series, how silence can become a control move, that's coming later this week on Mind Patterns. If this helped you name something you felt but couldn't label, stay for the series. Curiosity over certainty, always.